Cup victory, our heroes coming back home yesterday, and tonight I'm joined by yet another legend in Indian cricket, Ravi Shastri, the man who gave us the taste of first World Cup victories in 1983, and I can't forget the car you won in that year. We were all youngsters, and the car that you got in the 1983 series, and then the Benson and Hedges Cup. Ravi Shastri, what did the 2024 T20 title and the trophy lifted by Men in Blue mean to you?
It meant a lot because, in many ways, I was part of that team for about 6-7 years. And even when I left the team, we had not won a World Cup for about 10 years or so. And I mentioned to the guys, I said, you're too good a team not to lift it. Just be patient. I think the time will come. And I'm so glad that the time has come. And because it was a fantastic team. It was probably the last T20 World Cup for some great players. And for Rohit Sharma in particular, Virat Kohli was also part of that team. I mean, these guys are not going to play T20 cricket. But from Rohit's point of view, he's a giant in the white ball game, and for him not to lift a trophy wouldn't have been apt because he's one of the smartest tacticians going. He's won everything, Navika. He's won the IPL 5 times. He's won the Champions League. He's won, every ICC tournament. He's won Asia Cups. He's won Nidas trophies. He's won now the World Cup was something that was left. So I'm so glad that he's picked it up because I think in this tournament, I think tactically he was simply magnificent. He didn't put a foot wrong. He was calm under pressure. Even in that final, when 30 were needed of 30, with 6 wickets in hand, he was calm as.
What did you think during the match?
No, I was commentating. And I tell you, I jumped off my seat when that ball went up in the air and Surya caught it just under my nose. And even before they went upstairs to check, I was very clear in my mind that catch was clear. And he had taken it clean because I watched it right underneath my nose. I didn't need to see the replay. I was watching whether he's touching the rope or anything of that sort. Presence of mind and taking that catch at that time, I think was crucial.
Ravi Shastri, you've been a player in the squad. You've been in the commentary box. Can you describe for us what really goes on in a player's mind? Because both Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, overwhelmed, tears streaming down, and what is it that players think when they actually win a game of this high stakes?
When they win a game, when you saw those emotions pouring, after the game, it just showed how badly they wanted it, how long they had to wait, how difficult it was, and how difficult it is to win World Cups. It's not easy. Even a guy like Tendulkar had to go through 6 World Cups to win 1. So, it was a message even to the people watching that World Cups don't come easy. And you have to give your everything to win it. And, you could see the body language with 30 runs needed. Shoulders were dropping. But, the belief was there. And when Bumrah struck, and Hardik struck, it changed the game altogether. Then, it showed that South Africa had never won a World Cup because they panicked, for sure.
And what about Virat Kohli? What did you think of his knock? What did you think of the series? He's not had a great time recently. And, then this particular innings come along.
Because Virat Kohli batted like Virat Kohli. Before that, he was batting like someone else. He was trying to do things against his natural style of play and against his nature. He suddenly realized in the final, Virat Kohli had to play normal cricket and the runs will come. He's got the experience, he's got the, the ability to make up. And his innings was vital. Without that 78, South Africa could have been chasing 140 or 150, which would have been a totally different ball game. So, even great players have to make that adjustment on the big day.
Ravi Shastri, let me also ask you about Rahul Dravid. The man
Yes.
Who's been the wall for India forever, calm, composed. I mean, for the first time you saw emotions on his face, lifting the trophy, the team that he trained, and finally holding on to a World Cup that didn't happen to him as a player. And then that animated conversation even with the Prime Minister. Like Rahul Dravid or like somebody else?
No, like Rahul Dravid, because, again, see the weight. He played so many years. He played, close to 20 years, 15, 20 years. Didn't win a World Cup, like Sachin did. And then to wait on the last day of his tenure as a coach, he gets that trophy. The team get past the finishing line. So obviously the emotions would have been there. It's all, it's inside. He's waiting for it to come out. And, the fizz popped at that time. And you could see the emotions. And he deserves it. Because he's gone through the grind. It's not easy, let me tell you, speaking from experience, to be coach of India. Because the expectations are so high, every game you have to win. And the fact that they came so close in the 50 World Cup, which they should have won. They were probably the best team in the tournament. And then to again come into a final, and when it gets that close, suddenly the doubting Thomases come into your mind saying, will it happen, will it not happen, and then to go past the finishing line. So be it a player, be it a coach, the emotions, will come out. And it was there for everyone to see. And I'm glad for Rahul, because a great player, he's had a great tenure, as a player, but not to win a World Cup. But as a coach, he's part of a team that has won the World Cup.
Ravi Shastri, let me also ask you. Yes, you talked about the earlier title, ODI title, that they missed 8 months ago. To pick themselves up from that devastating point, confidence all shaken up, to come back from behind, and each one of those players had something or the other that was going on, their own internal battles. Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, Bumrah, all of them. What do you think it took to get this team together, their minds psychologically right on top, and come back from behind and lift the trophy?
I think it showed a lot of character. I think the captain led from the front. But let me step in here. You mentioned about all the tamasha that was going on within the team. And that's why I called him Jai Nostradamus Shah. Because 4 months ago, Navika, he appointed Rohit Sharma, the captain, and said on that day he's going to go on to win the World Cup. Now, what it did, by appointing him in the middle of the England series or the start of the England series, it took away all the commotion. It took away all the the arguments that would have taken place in the media as to who's going to be the captain. Will this guy be the captain, or will that guy be the captain? He put all that to bed by announcing him as captain. Letting the team know, letting the player know that the establishment is behind you. We have appointed you captain. Now go out and play the game. You were unlucky in that in that final against Australia. Get out. We believe you can do it, and they did it. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Had they waited another month and a half, 2 months, the IPL would have started. Teams not doing well, players not doing well. Again, total this thing in the media, speculation as who's going to lead, should he play, should he not play, should that guy come in? All that was put to bed and, put to rest once and for all. So I think that was a very, very important time in Indian cricket when that decision was made. So full marks to Jay for that.
And what about the criticism that BCCI officials are facing, at least politically, for being on that bus, celebrating with the boys, with the men in blue when they landed in Mumbai? All kinds of things being said. How would you respond to that?
Well, that's normal, isn't it? BCCI is always the whipping boys, all the other establishments in the country are the great bodies. BCCI are the whipping boys. Why can't they go there? They're part of the system, BCCI runs Indian cricket. They are the custodians of the sport. And on a day as big as that, what difference does it make if 5, 6, office bearers of the BCCI, including the president, get on that bus? Absolutely nothing wrong in that.
So let me ask.
Their emotions have been running high. They took the flak when India lost the final. All sorts of things were said as to who was at the ground and who was not at the ground. So when their turn comes, when India have won, they jolly well get up there on that bus. Nothing wrong in that.
So let me ask you, Hardik Pandya, personal issues, being trolled after that loss, life under the spotlight, coming back from there, doing the last over with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. What do you make of him?
I said it 3 games before the final. He was man of the match in the game against, I think it was Afghanistan or Bangladesh. One of the games he was man of the match. And, I on air said, in fact, when I was asked on Star as to, what about Hardik Pandya and the criticism he's facing, I said, believe you me, 2 good games for India and you watch the fun. So I was asked why. I said, because we are the biggest topi masters in the world. When it comes to criticism, it's fine. 2 good matches, the topi firaus, And Hardik Pandya Zindabad. Hardik Pandya Zindabad. So we are used to it. Cricketers are used to it. They know that they've got the biggest stage and, that you can ever imagine when you're playing for your country, especially cricket. And you have 2 good matches, everything is forgotten. And let's face it, he showed a lot of character. He showed a lot of take-up. He's a top-class player. He's probably the best around in this format of the game as an all-rounder. And he chose the World Cup stage to show exactly who he is.
And Bumrah, do you think he's redefined bowling in death overs?
Usko hum salam karte hain. He is one of the greatest of all time. When Andy Roberts in 2019 could tell him, that's when I was the coach of India. He came up after he cleaned up the West Indies in 2.5 or 3 days. He said, you know what, Bumrah, you could have had the new ball in our time. I mean, you can't get a bigger compliment than that. You cannot get a bigger compliment than that. And just his ability to read situations, read players, to make the ball talk. It's as if he's at the stage of his career where he's telling the ball, I want you to do this. I want you to sneak through between bat and pad and knock over the stumps. And that's exactly what's happening. He is literally making the ball talk. He has it on a string. It's whatever he commands, the ball does. And it's a fabulous sight because he is unorthodox. You won't see too many people with that kind of action, being so lethal. So, fabulous, great for India. And every time you needed a wicket, he got it. And what was great, Navika, was he didn't give any runs. I mean, not a single batsman in the World Cup had an answer. If at all, they could only defend him. No one could, take charge of him. And he got the best out. Fabulous.
Absolutely. And that's what dreams are made of. And 1 billion Indians back home were dreaming. And, of course, many abroad. But how would you respond to cricketers like Michael Vaughan, who has said that the World Cup was scheduled in a way only to suit India? Do you think this criticism is fair?
It's not at all fair. Michael can say what he wants. No one's bothered in India. Let him sort out the England team first. As he should give advice on what happened to the England team in the semi-final. India is used to lifting cups. I know England have won twice. India has won 4 times. I don't think Michael's lifted a cup ever. So, think twice.
Well, do you think...
And he's a colleague of mine. I work with him. But that's my answer to him.
Achha, that's pretty staid then. Thoda sa aur bol dete to...
That's stale? Or kitna chahiye?
No, because when 1.4 billion Indians are smarting under that comment, first they said the catch that Sky took, that was not quite fair. He was over the ropes. And then, the timing being questioned, that it was in India's favor. Do you think bad losers, all of them?
Yeah, absolutely. Sour grapes. Sour grapes, totally.
And where do we go?
And go and check the record books, na, what it will say after 5 years. You can say what you want.
True.
The name India will be engraved on it.
Who's going to succeed Rahul Dravid as the coach? Will have to have broad shoulders to carry the weight of the expectations?
Anyone who coaches India will have to, his man management qualities has to be really good. I don't know who's applied. I mean, they say Gautam's the front runner, and he's got, he's pretty contemporary. He's just he's on the back of an IPL title. He's been around the circuit in recent times, so that's a big help. So you've got to take all this into account. And what's important, if Gautam is appointed, is that he has a good support staff. And he should be, given the opportunity to pick his support staff, because that goes a long way in making his job a little easier and taking it forward. And he would know a lot of these players because he would have either played with them or, watched them at close quarters, being the mentor for KKR.
And do you have any plans of going back there?
No, I've passed 60. I've said bye-bye, Navika. This is 7 years in that job. It takes its toll. I'm glad I still have some hair on me, thanks to the guy who did my transplant. Fabulous, but I'm happy. Yeah. I enjoyed my tenure there. The boys were great. I had a lot of fun. And I'm glad they've come up with a World Cup title today.
Thank you very much, Ravi Shastri. Thank you for talking to us, for giving us your thoughts on not just the World Cup, but also where cricket goes from here. Of course, it's a religion back home in India. And the weight of expectations clearly always very high on the shoulders of these players. When they win, they get it big. When they lose, yes, we get a little nasty back home, but all in the game. That's what cricket means to all of us. Thank you very much for joining me right here on the News Hour.
One message, Navika, is that, be happy with this World Cup win. It doesn't come every day. And don't be greedy that every time India plays a World Cup, they should win now.
Dil mange more. Dil mange more.
Thoda aaram se. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.